Well, we're so thankful to have with us Joe Gunkel, a former Bowie Baysox. And Joe, we can't wait to get into it with you about looking back. Joe, there's been a lot of Baysox games over the years. Joe pitched the most important Baysox game in team history back in 2015. My name's Adam Pohl. We got Adrian Robertson here with us today, of course, for our Double A Quarantine podcast and Zoomcast. And Joe, you got to catch us up because everybody here, of course, is hunkered down, but you're doing it in a different part of the world, aren't you?
Yeah, it's been a little different for me. We were hunkered down for a little bit in the end of March into
Mm-hmm.
early April. That's when it kind of started here, and my wife was actually out here. And it got to a point where we just, she didn't know she had to go back to school yet, so she was a teacher, so we sent her home. And so I've been out here by myself for the last month and a half, just hanging out in my apartment. We've been able to, they've opened the facility up to us we've been able to go for like 6 weeks. So we've been getting, I've been able to get out of the apartment and get to the field and get some work in there. And they have a few dates set for us to start playing games. It's either mid-June, late June, or early July. So looks like things are starting to turn the corner here, and we're going to get started, pretty soon.
So Joe is pitching for a first year in Japan, which is one of the great leagues of professional baseball. It's been an incredible career for Joe, going from a Division II pitcher here up towards AAA baseball, and now this new experience. So here we are, a little inside baseball, Adrian. Of course, we're talking to Joe at 5 p.m. Joe's up for us at 6 a.m.
He is a trooper. and he's smiling, and he looks like a morning person.
Don't mind me if a couple of yawns sneak out. I got my coffee.
So how long have you been in Japan?
I got over here at the very end of January, and our spring training is in Okinawa, which is in the southernmost island in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So we're down there for like 3 or 4 weeks. And then we had exhibition games, so basically spring training games in our home ballpark. So we had those, and we finished those up, and that's when they officially postponed the season. So we got in 6 weeks of spring training preseason before we got shut down.
And how was the process like over there during the shutdown?
It was a little different. There wasn't a hard lockdown like there was in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
They declared state of emergency. They recommended people not going anywhere, and they closed some businesses, but a lot of things stayed open, and people are always outside here. I live on a little island that has foreigners and native Japanese people that live on it, so there's always people out and about. But it seems things are starting to pick up here now. They lifted the state of emergency in my area a few days ago. I think they're going to lift the Tokyo one either today or the next couple days. So things should be starting to get back to normal.
Joe, how many American players are on your team? I know that the majority of players that you'll play with are Japanese.
Yeah, so they have a rule here that only 4 foreign players can be on the active roster at all times.
Okay.
So teams can have as many as they want, but you can only have 4 active. We have 8, I think, in our organization.
Mm-hmm.
7 of us are major league level players, and the one is one they have for the minor league team. So there'll only be 4 of us on the team at one time, and so the other 3 of us will be on the minor league roster, and we'll kind of shuffle the rosters that way.
Now, on a normal day when you report to practice compared to America, where you might roll in at 2 o'clock for pre-workouts in the game, what arrivals and what kind of different traditions do they have over there?
Yeah, I know the days are a little bit longer here. We haven't prepared for a night game yet, so I don't know what the night game time schedule is. But for a 1 o'clock game, we're usually stretching by 9:30, 10 o'clock. And on the road, the days aren't as long on the road because we don't have the same kind of clubhouse life that you do in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're on the road, we get dressed at the hotel in our uniforms. We take the bus over, and you have a practice maybe that's like 2 hours before the game, infield, outfield, throwing, all that stuff. and then you shower up and get ready for the game. You play the game, you get right back on the bus and go home. So when the days are long when you're at home, but when you're on the road, it's pretty quick. You just get in there to play the game, you get out.
And one of the great things about baseball in Asia is the passion of the fans and the excitement. And obviously, you won't be feeling that at the outset of the season. But is there a hope that they'll be able to have fans in the stadium by season's end?
Yeah, I think I saw the other day that Taiwan already has
Yep.
limited attendance. So I think that Japan wants to do the same plan here. Maybe open up, have nobody for a month or so, and then once they start pulling back the regulations a bit, go into limited capacity and then go to medium capacity. And I haven't heard much of the plan, but I would assume they would do anything they could to get the stadiums filled by the end of the year, as long as it's safe to do so.
Now, during when you went into your lockdown, which was shorter than ours, did you do anything quirky? Like, I bought a bark box for my dog, so that was kind of my weird thing. Tried something new. My dog gets new treats every month now and new toys. Is there something quirky or unusual that you have done?
Not really unusual or quirky, but I watched The Walking Dead. I'd never watched that before, and I finished. I mean, there's still one more episode that's going to come out after the virus pandemic's over. But there are 10 seasons, and I watched it in probably 3 weeks. I was dedicating pretty much all my time watching them, and I got through it pretty quick.
Glory.
So, you had a great career, of course, here with the Bowie Baysox, and were a part of the team's lone championship season. You might not know this, but the Baysox did make it to the finals last year for a second time in franchise. Yeah, but did not win it. So I wanted to, of course, look back at your time with the Orioles organization and the Baysox, but I wanted to start at the apex of it. It was Game 5 of the Eastern League Championship Series. Even though Bowie was the home team, we were really the underdog to Reading, a team that had a lot of talent after a bunch of trades there at the deadline that brought talent to the Phillies organization. And you had pitched in Game 1. And unlike with Reading, they went with a reliever in Game 5 because each team went into the series really with 4 healthy starters. And you pitched on short rest starting that Game 5 game, of course, in which Bowie won. Tell us about that decision and what that game was like.
Yeah, we knew going in that going on short rest, I wasn't asked to do a lot because we had both me and Nick Additon ready to go. Mm-hmm. And so we knew we were going to split it 4 and 4. So, when you don't have to go deep in the game, you can you don't have to save anything. You kind of let it eat for the 4 innings you have. And I hadn't pitched, if you remember, I hadn't pitched well in the playoffs before that. I didn't throw well in Altoona, and I didn't throw that well at Reading. But I'm pretty sure I only gave up the lone solo homer to Perkins in whatever inning that was. But, yeah, just to be able to put together 4 good innings, and then Nick threw a really good 4 innings, and then have Tracer last innings. That's pretty much what we did all year as a pitching staff. We kind of kept the other teams at bay and let the position players, slug us to a win. So I think that's pretty much how we played the whole season. To have it accumulate till that last game was pretty cool.
And I know you've played as well in the Red Sox system before getting traded to the Orioles, and then with the Dodgers and the Marlins as well systems. But how much fun was that team's clubhouse? Because to me, you guys, it was a good mix of young and old. The younger players were guys like yourself and Trey Mancini and Mike Yastrzemski, and then some of the veteran players like Brandon Snyder and Quincy Lattimore. It was a fun group.
Yeah, it was definitely a unique clubhouse to have in minor league baseball, especially in AA. Mm-hmm. It's not often that you have a team that meshes so well and comes together for the common goal. And a lot of us were together for a lot of the season. It's not like we got broken up in the middle of the season. So I feel like we built a very good chemistry together. And you can see how good that does to a team when they make a run deep into the playoffs. And it's definitely something that was probably the most fun I've had as a professional baseball player, just how fun that season was and the group of guys we had. And it's really something special for guys to come together like that for an entire season in the minor leagues.
Now, growing up and playing baseball, did you have any other sports that you dabbled in that you might have thought of going, or was it your heart always there?
Well, I played, all sports growing up. I played football and basketball in high school too, but I always knew that my future was in baseball. Not only just like talent-wise, it's what I wanted to do. I always enjoyed just even baseball practice. I enjoyed going to baseball practice. So it was never a doubt which one I was going to pursue. It was only a matter of, how much opportunity I was going to get in it.
So we have been playing a game called Would You Rather. So today is going to be Would You Rather with Joe. It's about 30 seconds and easy peasy. And Adam's going to get the timer out for us.
All right, here we go.
Dog or cat?
Dog.
Beach or mountains?
Mountains.
Country music or rap?
Country.
Steak or seafood?
Steak.
Italian food or Chinese?
Definitely Italian food.
Sunrise or sunset?
Sunrise. Judging by me being a big fan.
College football or NFL?
NFL.
And chess or checkers?
Checkers. I'm not very good at chess.
Good job.
Joe, with Japan, I mean, this is so weird because part of this whole thing is to embrace the culture and have kind of a unique experience over the next year or the next few years. Has it been weird to be halfway across the world and not really be able to venture out much? I guess you still can, but.
Yeah. So I've really wanted to go see the different places because there's not much to see where we live. Without public transportation, you can't really go anywhere, and they recommend not taking public transportation for us. So I definitely hope that this kind of blows over, but goes away soon, so I can kind of go out and see things, go see like the old temples and all that stuff. And but learning the culture, it's been cool so far. Going before we got shut down, being able to go to different restaurants. Like I went to one of these sushi restaurants with one of my teammates.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one where you sit down and you don't order anything. The sushi chef just gives you whatever he makes.
Wow.
And if I didn't have my translator and the Japanese player with me, I wouldn't have known half the stuff I was eating. But just to experience the different, the way that they eat things and the different things that they eat, and if you go in with an open mind, it's really cool. It's a really cool experience.
Is the translator travel with you at most times then?
Yeah, so he's with me all day at the field. Once I leave the field, he's not with me unless I go somewhere that I would need him. But at the field, at the hotel on the road, in the taxis and the trains on the road, he's with me to help me out. And I think they loosen the leash a little bit once I get my feet wet and get comfortable, kind of get an understanding for the language. But I don't know if that's ever going to happen because everything's written in characters, and sometimes there's no regular words written. So even if I know the language, like reading it is a whole different story. Have
you picked up on a few words so far? Or?
Yeah, I've been doing pretty good. I ask a lot of questions and I try to talk to the teammates as much as I can, the stuff I understand. I have like a little app on my phone that it teaches me stuff. So it's pretty tough, but it's kind of similar to the way people speak in the Spanish language. So the Spanish players tend to have more, they're able to pick it up a little better, just the way the flow of the words are. And having some background work in Spanish through high school, I think has helped me kind of understand the way the sentences are composed and the way the words sound.
That's really cool.
Well, Joe, we really appreciate you doing this, especially at 6 in the morning.
No problem.
It's been great having you with us here today. And we hope that you guys obviously are able to get going here soon, and we're going to be following you.
We'll be watching.
I hope it gets started in the U.S. too. It's been a slow world without baseball.
There's no doubt about it. Thank you so much, Joe.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.